NALI, the National African American Women's Leadership Institute, I started at Bennett. Again, to do a leadership program for African American women. And all the first meetings were held in Greensboro. And that was our headquarters. Lee Williams, a young woman who has a PhD, who used to work for UNCF at that time, was the first director that I got to be the director of it. And 12, the number 12, there were 12 women who we first got there. In fact, there are 12 trees on Bennett's campus that are planted, one in the name of each of those first 12 members of the Leadership Institute. A lot of trees, that's another tradition on the campus of Bennett. There are trees all around the campus planted for a particular reason or purpose, and people's names are on them. But NALI continues. It is in Dallas, Texas now. Its headquarters are there. And it continues, and every year, a year-long program in women's leadership continues.
Why was it important for you to have that kind of an institute, one that dealt with leadership for women?
Because it was needed again. Women were still having a hard time being accepted and being able to having to compete successfully.
And this was in the 1980s?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am. It certainly was.
And you also established a partnership between Bennett College and a girls' school in Zimbabwe?
Yes.
Does that continue, and why was that important?
It does continue. It was important because the young girls in Africa were needing education. And again, it was the United Methodist women had created a school several years earlier there. And of course, the children all had to come. It was a residential school because kids could live way all out in the bush and everywhere else. And we kept that school, the Methodist Women's Office in 475 Riverside Drive, made a major grant to them through me, and I went there to help then president of that school. And that was, the young women there, the young girls were just fantastic. We went there. I went to speak and meet with them. And as it happened, the car that came into Harare to drive us out there, of course, had a flat tire on the way there. So we had to sit on the side of the highway until the driver could flag a ride with the next person who came by, take the tire way back to the last town to get it changed for us to leave to go on it. And so we visited, though, with the village that was there. And so when we got into the school that evening, it was dark, and it was not time to turn the lights on yet. Their lights were only on electricity from like 7 o'clock to and so I stood and spoke to them in darkness. That's what I'm laughing about. I mean, they could hear me, as I'm sure they could see me, but spoke to them right there. It was fantastic. And it really helped. And we continued. In later years, I was one of the founders of Africa University in Zimbabwe. The bishop of the United Methodist Church appointed me, when I was president of Bennett, to be one of the lead. I was the secretary of the board for Africa University as we started. And of course, it still thrives. We did a number of things. So God has been very good to me and enabled me to be able to insert ways to educate and substantially elevate women, African American women.